Hey traders, I just want to go over my trades today. I want to go over the $2,000 payout I had from Apex Trader Funding, and I want to go over my trading journal that I created. It's pretty cool. So I had one losing trade. I traded the YM today. There was some FOMOC testimony, or Jerome Powell had testimony at 10 a.m. and the market, I didn't want to trade during those times, so I was thinking the afternoon session. And I took a losing trade, a profitable trade, and I made over $1,000. Yesterday, or a few days ago, I did a withdraw, $2,000, which is the maximum on a $50,000 account for Apex Trader Funding, and I left myself with $1,000 balance. So once I hit $3,000, I take 2,000 out every time, and I kind of want to go over that strategy of a funded account because I think a lot of people blow those funded accounts even when they hit profitability. And I'm just trying to stop myself from doing that by withdrawing often. So with Apex Trader Funding, you're allowed to withdraw twice per month. So every 2 weeks, you can request a payout. Depending on the account size, you have different payout maximums and minimums. Well, the minimum I think is $500 across all accounts, but so I could have requested less, but I don't want to leave too much in there. I thought $1,000 cushion is fine. I could trade conservatively until I, made another withdraw threshold, which is $2,600 on their end. But I like to leave $1,000 cushion, just a nice psychological number for me. Allows me about 4 trades roughly, 4 depending, and that's pretty good for me to have not, I usually don't have 4 consecutive losers, so the likelihood of losing that is very small. However, anything can happen, so that's why I like withdrawing. So it's really cool. They give you a little PDF. Here's to prove that I got a payout on the 20th. It's going to come, I think, at the last day of the month. It'll hit my bank account, and you get to keep 90% of everything up to the first $15,000. You keep 100%, but after that they keep 90. So my payouts will eventually drop. And I had left $1,000 balance, and then I made $1,000 trade today, so I have a $2,000 balance now, roughly. And so I'll go over the trades I took to make that today and what my thought process was. But here's the executions here. So I had a short here in this fair value gap, and I got stopped out. So part of trading, big part of it is psychology. You hear that a lot. And I think the only way to really learn the most about yourself is to journal. So I'm going to cover the journaling software that I created at the end of this video. So stick around for that. There's also like an 80% discount I'll share with you for that, and I'll have a link in the description. But one thing I realize is that I have a problem with revenge trading, and I have a problem with over leveraging, and I have a problem with FOMO, right? So common issues. And so what I do is, if I had, obviously you need the right trade idea, but I'll have an aggressive entry with a very tight stop, very light size. And sometimes that works out great and it's very satisfying because I was aggressive, I had a tight stop. Usually the risk reward is great. You could see I had a 7R trade based on this a few videos ago if you look at my video catalog. So, those happen, and I hate missing them. I feel like if I miss those, it causes other psychological issues where I try to enter trade setups that aren't really there. So I'll enter light size, and I like the YM because it's $5 a contract. Usually I can risk about 20, 25 points, which is about 150 bucks, which is about half the size I usually do. So in this case, I had very tight risk, and I can show you on my trading view charts the overall idea why I took this trade, but just trying to explain the psychological aspect of why I took a loss on this, and then I sized up, right? Because I had this candle right here into this fair value gap with the market structure shift was extra confirmation for me. So as soon as this closed, this candle, I took a short there with a stop over the high. So even a tighter stop than before, but with more size. And I saw a confluence with this on the other indices. So the ES and the NQ, they had the same type of setup. Plus, If I measure the swing high to swing low here, this was OTE entry. And if you're not familiar with all these terminology, I trade smart money concepts, SMC it's called, or it's basically created by ICT, the Inner Circle Trader. So kind of give you an idea of the overall structure I was looking at. If I look at the ES on a 15-minute, we have what's called a breaker block here. So a breaker block formed here after this breakdown in the morning, and we had bearish overall order flow on higher time frames. Plus, we had a 1 hour bearish order block. So if we go to the 1 hour, these two up close or this one up close candle and fair value gap with the break structure is a bearish order block on the 1 hour. So higher time frames proceed over lower time frames, right? And so I was looking at this an afternoon setup. I'm like, okay, perfect. Let's look and wait for the time of day, which in this case was silver bullet. ICT talks about the time of day between 2 and 3 where you can find really good setups. And so we had a run on liquidity, started from 150, ending at 230. And then we had a market structure shift on all indices, right? It was kind of shallow here, my first entry, but it definitely confirmed after a few minutes. So you can see the same thing in the NQ, market structure shift here. And then just to illustrate the OTE, or optimal trade entry, if we take the swing high to the swing low, we see 0.62 on the Fibonacci tool. And that's a perfect rejection off of OTE. So all that was happening to OTE was being rejected on all different indices. This added to my conviction. Plus, there was a clear draw on liquidity for all the indices, including the YM especially. So we could see here that YM cleared this swing high, and let's see, that was at lunchtime high, and actually they all did. So the YM just cleared it though and rejected it, and it was pretty bullish all day compared to the other indices. You could see it was a lot less red, and so I had the thought that this one drops. If it's showing weakness and it's the strongest one, then it definitely would come down fast. And initially, it came down faster, but obviously the NQ and the ES would have gave a lot more per contract. But again, I was keeping risk, light. And there was some slight hesitation here, and I saw like a bear flag, I guess you'd call it. I don't know too much retail trading patterns, but that made me think it could push up again, trying to convince people to go short. But eventually, it just dropped out. I did leave one contract on. I exited right after it broke this low. I just moved my stop down. So that was a great trade. Again, it was like, what was it? $1,200 with a $165 loser. And so, yeah, this draw on liquidity, I forgot to cover that. I think it was on the 5-minute. So you had a big imbalance here that was formed right after this, rate on liquidity and then a market structure shift. So this is actually a trade I took earlier too with a valuation account, but that trade stopped me out because of trailing drawdown bullshit. So anyway, I don't want to cover that trade, but I had the right idea. Just the timing was just a little off because it was around lunchtime. So yeah, so I think a lot would help me with this trade and be profitable was the fact that I understand my psychology. Part of developing that understanding was journaling. And I think that a lot of new traders, they're sick of paying subscriptions or doing stuff kind of manually in Excel and not being able to find their edge. So I created a website called One Time Trading Journal. And basically, it's a template file that you copy over into your Airtable account, which they offer a free Airtable account. So it's a cloud-based, web-based journaling dashboard and database, but you own the data and you only pay a one-time fee, hence the name One Time Trading Journal. So it's fully featured. If you click on the link, it'll take you to this webpage, and there's a nice video here where I explain more how to use it and what it's about. There's also limited time code where you can save 80%. So you just enter that code at checkout and then you'll save 80%. So that'll be up for a limited time. Please check it out. If you want to continue to follow me on my journey, where I journal these trades and explain a little bit more about psychology and SMC, what I'm learning, hit the like button, hit subscribe and notification bell, and then you'll see the next video. So thank you very much. Have a good day and good luck trading.